Pedals and effects with the Tubescreamer. The new, it is called the NTS.
NU new. Not to be confused with new metal.
No, new metal.
It's an overdrive pedal. It's not a metal. We're not talking metal. We're talking overdrive.
Yes.
That drive.
The legacy of the Tubescreamer continues.
It's the new Tubescreamer. If I plug it into the right thing. With that new tube technology.
Boom. That's a real tube. It's a friggin' miniature ass tube that works great. So it gives you that tube compression, gives you that tube headroom. It is low power consumption. I mean, whatever that matters to you. How long is that tube going to last you, Nick?
I remember when we went in, Ibanez brought us in, not to brag. I know we brag sometimes, but we're not bragging. But Ibanez asked us to come in and check out their prototype, which I'll show you in a second. But anyways, they were like, oh yeah, it's low power consumption. It'll last a really, really long time. I was like, but wait, how long would it last? And it's straight up 30,000 hours.
Yes. You're never going to go through that tube in your lifetime.
I don't know. There's a lot of dorks watching this right now that are just like jamming in their bedrooms, just practicing.
I bet Paul Gilbert, if he would have got that when he was 8, might have gone through 30,000 hours, maybe. But
yeah.
The other thing I'll throw out, like, you know what, man, the history of Tubescreamer is insane. Go to Wikipedia and look at it. We're not going to tell you about it. But, hey, I'll bet there was a Tubescreamer used on Thriller. I bet Steve Lukather used a Tubescreamer. I'll put money on it, 5 on it. Prove me wrong, Luke. I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan used a Tubescreamer.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Reinhart used a Tubescreamer.
Sure as shit do.
I mean, there's so many. The thing about the Tubescreamer is just like it was always the perfect drive sound. I don't know. I never actually. I may have had the Tone Lock Tubescreamer, yeah, which was like maybe the T7 or something. But any version of the Tubescreamer that I ever played through was always the best, the choice sound for whatever amp, whatever situation I was in. And, you know, you can get a lot of clones or versions of the Tubescreamer, but it's kind of like there's how many overdrive sounds are there? There's like less than 10, right?
I mean, it's clipping diodes.
Not in this guy.
Not in that dude.
Actual tube in this one. But the point is like the Tubescreamer, it's just crazy because it's one of its own, it's one of the sounds. Right? Oh yeah, the mid-range like Tubescreamer, like overdrive. That's, you know, there's not that many different, you know, dudes in their workshop that were able to come up with a completely like whatever unique at the time overdrive sound.
Right.
This is one of them.
Right.
The crazy thing about this, in addition to the actual tube, which makes it a whole different beast of an overdrive pedal, is it has a mix knob on it.
And that mix knob counterclockwise delivers mid-range that it always has had, but
with clean. Yeah, so it's actually not a wet or a dry knob, which when I originally got it, I was like, oh, wet or dry. Cool, but no, when you plug it in, we'll show you, when you go all the way counterclockwise, it's actually just a nice, like, very mid, just boost, crunchy sound.
And I will say for basses, so I personally have never used, I mean, I shouldn't say never, I probably have used a Tubescreamer for overdrive on something, maybe a Racer X record or something, but I will say, I love this sucker because guess what? This sucker can handle 18 volts. You're like, so what? I'm like, well, one, you're not going to blow up your pedal by plugging in an 18 volt, which I have done to other pedals. But that's not my point. My point is that 18 volts means you get added headroom. So that's good for bass because we need more headroom because our instrument is lower frequency, which just doesn't always sound good when you're getting crunched into something else. When you have more headroom, your bass gets to sit in there in the low range, and it really helps color the instrument beautifully. And like you always want a compressor, like a tube compressor when you're recording, you want it to have a lot of headroom. Well, you get that added headroom because the sucker has a tube. So basses, watch out, 18 volts, get the massive
headroom. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you're just like super groggy and you're just like, oh dude, it's 4 a.m. and I want to go plug in that Tubescreamer, and you just dig into your box of power supplies, it doesn't matter what you grab.
No.
You can totally grab that, but if you were trying to like go plug into any delay pedal or any other pedal in your collection, 9 out of 10 pedals, and you are groggy at 4 a.m. and you plug in an 18 volt, it's done.
I've toasted a few pedals. But I will say, though, you can plug in a 6 volt into the sucker, and it's going to sound great because it's going to give you different qualities. So we just figured, like, we'll just bash you right now with some plain samples, and you let us know. Oh, right.
And
hey,
as an added bonus,
only us at Pedals and Effects.
this is crazy. When we went to try out their prototype, this is what was in front of us. So, I mean, we can show this. They gave it to us, and it's this cool thing. But check this out. You know, they were messing with a boost, some different bias options, and then obviously all the classic stuff. But just wild. This is just crazy. This blows my mind that there's like, we have this in our possession.
I mean,
Look at this.
It's kind of crazy.
There it is.
Yeah.
9 or 18. I don't know what the remote input is. That was interesting.
Maybe for them to...
But we sat there and we like tweaked and we're like, that's cool, that's cool. Oh, the mix is rad because you could do this and this and for bass, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, that's just kind of a neat little bonus.
Yo, you know, these companies, they come to Pedals and Effects, Nick and Juan, to get their stuff hyped up, and we are hyped on the new Tubescreamer.
All right, well, if you're asking yourself what the Tubescreamer sounds like on guitar,
What does it sound like?
that's a crazy question if you're asking yourself that, because it's like you should know what the Tubescreamer sounds like on the guitar. So, well, you know, I'm just diming this. That's what I would do, and I'd probably leave that right there. This is the mix all the way to the right. So, and then bring the drive down a bit. So there's the drive all the way down, but with the mix all the way up, right? But actually, I would prefer on this guy to have the drive cranked and then bring the mix all the way to the left. And now, notice this whole pretty sound.
Dude, straight up classic Reinhart sound.
Pretty cool. So, all right. So, anyways, so now we've heard guitar with the mix knob all the way to the left and all the way to the right. And here's what it is: just 12 o'clock. Back down. Let's back off from the drive too and see. Here's without. I mean, that's like tone, right? If you want tone, that's the tone.
We're all looking for sweet tones.
I mean, I feel like if you just want a nice compression overdrive sound with that frickin' VFD straight up tube and a pedal. All right, should we plug in an 18-volt power supply and see what this thing does?
On bass, we should.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Here we are. 18 volt plugged in for the extra headroom for the big bass. And, all right, so this is like my first setting. Black knobs at 12 o'clock. And so check this tone. so cool. All right, I'm gonna go for diming this sucker all the way clockwise. So I already hear that this sucker has a lot of super cool mid definition, if that makes sense, because like it really brings out, because P pickups are more mid rangey than jazz, and so this is like a vintage Seymour Duncan P pickup, and it really it gets articulated with this tube screamer. So here, we'll see what it sounds like counterclockwise, more of like a mid boost instead of more of like an overdrive. Here's without. So of course, obviously there's no overdrive, but also the mids, it's just kind of thuddy. Turn that sucker on. Let me kick on a little. And I really want to hear it with everything dimed. I hope Nick plugs his ears.
Why don't you dime the last knob?
Well, hold on. I want to dime this. So I can hear the compression really do its thing. The tube is giving it that tube compression sound. So cool. That's my favorite setting. Take a photo of it. Use that setting on your P pickup.